All right, let's get right into it. You know that feeling, right? You're in the zone, you click on a file you need, and bam, you're hit with an error message that just stops you dead in your tracks. It is so frustrating. But don't worry, we're going to fix one of the most common Windows roadblocks and get you moving again.
Yup, that one right there. If that message looks painfully familiar, then you are definitely in the right place. It feels like a digital dead end, I know. But trust me, it's completely fixable. We're going to walk through this together, step by step.
So our goal here is simple. We're going to break down exactly what this error means, figure out what's causing it, and then go through the solutions one by one so you can get past it and back to your work.
So what's really going on here? What is Windows actually trying to tell us? Well, think of this message as Windows's way of throwing its hands up and saying, hey, I see what you're asking for, but something is physically blocking me from getting to it. Our job is to figure out what that something is.
Okay, so before we can fix anything, we gotta play detective for a minute. This error can pop up for a few different reasons, so let's go ahead and investigate the usual suspects.
These are pretty much the main reasons you'll see this error. It could be that you just don't have permission, kind of like not having the key to a locked room, or the file might literally be gone. Maybe it was moved or deleted. Maybe it's on a USB drive that's not plugged in. It could even be a broken shortcut. And finally, sometimes your own computer's security is being a little too protective and blocking the file itself.
All right, let's kick things off with the number one reason this error pops up: permissions. See, every single file and folder on your computer has a list of rules that says who can do what with it. If your account isn't on the approved list, well, Windows won't let you in.
So here's what you're going to do. Find that file, right-click on it, and go down to Properties. Then, click on the Security tab. You'll see a list of users. Find your username and click on it. Now look at the box below. You're looking for check marks next to things like full control or read and execute. If those permissions are denied or blank, that's almost certainly your problem. Just click that Edit button to give yourself the access you need.
Okay, so let's say you checked your permissions and everything looked fine. What's next? Well, our second suspect is the file's location. And I know this sounds super basic, but you would be shocked how often the issue is just that the file isn't where your computer thinks it is.
So let's run down a quick checklist here. If the file is supposed to be on a network drive or a USB stick, is that drive actually connected? Double check that. Try to go directly to the folder where the file should be and see if it's there. And hey, if you're clicking on a shortcut, like an icon on your desktop, that shortcut itself might be broken. The easiest fix for that? Just delete the old one and make a new one.
And that brings us to our third and final suspect. And this one's a little different, because sometimes the problem isn't a mistake, it's a security feature. To keep you safe, Windows or your antivirus software can decide to block a file, especially if you just downloaded it from the internet.
Now, this can happen in two main ways. On one side, you've got Windows' own security that might be blocking a file. That fix is usually pretty easy. On the other side, you've got your actual antivirus program, which can sometimes get a little too aggressive and block a perfectly safe file. That one requires a bit more care.
If Windows is the one putting up the roadblock, the fix is usually super simple. Just right-click the file, go to Properties, and stay on that first General tab. Look all the way at the bottom, you might see a little security warning and right next to it a checkbox that says Unblock. Just check that box, hit Apply, and you should be good to go.
But what if you look and there's no unblock button? What then? Well, that's a big clue that your antivirus software might be the real culprit. To find out for sure, you'd need to disable it for a moment to see if the file opens. But, and listen up, this is really important, you have to be careful.
I want to pause here because this is a serious warning. Turning off your antivirus is like unlocking your front door and walking away. Please only do this if you are absolutely 100% sure the file is safe, and only do it for the few seconds it takes to test it. The instant you're down, turn your antivirus right back on. No exceptions.
Whew, okay. We've covered a ton of ground, right? We've gone from figuring out the problem to walking through 3 totally different ways to solve it. So let's do a quick recap of the troubleshooting toolkit you have now.
Just remember this simple 3-step thought process. First, permissions. Ask yourself, do I have the key to this door? Second, location. Ask, is the file even home? And third, blocks. Is my own security getting in the way? If you follow that order, you'll solve this error almost every single time.
And there you have it, that annoying Windows cannot access error demystified. Fixing today's little problem brings up a much bigger question for tomorrow. How do we manage our computers and our files so that these things don't happen in the first place?
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.